Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate Radio on Bob FM. John Egan with you. Our players are down to 2 today. Last week we had 4, and now we've got 2.
Yeah, we're cutting it in half, aren't we?
Well, I think they're still home sleeping, is from what I heard.
Well, let us know who you guys are, even though your voices are becoming ridiculously familiar to the listening audience.
Gee, I don't know about that. Well, this is Jamie Borden with the Borden Real Estate Team. Been licensed for 12 years. Love everything that we do about helping buyers buy and sellers sell, and how to navigate that transition from selling a house to buying a house.
And I'm Steve Rice with Marketplace Home Mortgage. Been a lender for about 25 years and still absolutely love helping people understand the proper way and the right way to borrow money.
So I hear that you did a little golfing this weekend or this past week. Are you thinking about giving all up the lending business for the Pro Tour?
Well, I am not. We annually help support Toys for Joy, local great charity that helps out the kids. And I golf with 3 of my other business partners. And as I told people on the tee boxes, they can tell who works the hardest by the quality of their golf game. And then after we all teed off, they looked at me and said, "Boy, you must be a hard worker, Steve." Because it was
you ain't got no golf game.
Because the guys that I golf with, they've played a lot longer, a lot more regular, and but I just used it to my advantage, and it worked out okay.
Well, I tell you what, when it comes to my golf swing, I aim about 45 degrees to the left, and then it ends up getting on the fairway. So I've worked out my imperfections, but it's been a while since I've been out there.
And it's nice, though, because I'll go to these. It's a best ball tournament, so they don't use my drives. We used one of them, but otherwise I'm okay on my irons, and I can putt really well. So
I did a golf tournament with the CCGA. What was it? The Christian Community Golf Association. And I was out there with Dave Clutter from KTIS.
Yep.
So he and I are out there, and I'm thinking I'm on hole 7. And Dave was out there somewhere about 14, but you had to take our drive.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the downfall. That was the handicap, man. So I don't think I ever got it past 90 feet.
Well, Steve, one thing that I just determined was we should never go golfing together because
I'll go with people as long as they like to have a good time. You know, it's just about having a good time. Now, and you know the rule: if you don't hit it past the women's tee, right?
No.
I'll tell you off air. I respect our listeners this morning, but you have to drop your shorts if you don't hit it past the women's tee.
Oh, really?
Oh, boy. Like I said, we should never go golfing because we'd be doing that a lot.
Isn't that like that old joke about
Nothing
the guy
I want to see, by the way, either.
Amen
the
to
guy
that.
gets on the tee, and all of a sudden he hears over the speakers, "Sir, please back up to the men's tee, please." And so he ignores it. The next guy comes over the loudspeaker, says, "Sir, please back up to the men's tee." And the guy says, "Wait, I want to take my second shot."
Yeah. No, it was a good cause. It's a great charity, and they had a pretty good turnout. We are a little delayed by the rain on that back on Monday, but it was overall a good event.
Boy, that poured on Monday.
Yeah.
I was out fixing a lawnmower, and I was with my stepson, and I said, "How large can raindrops get?"
It was coming down fast and furious.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Well, the funny thing is right before that rain came, I play softball on Mondays, and so I've never known myself to be a power hitter, but I ended up hitting 3 home runs on that doubleheader. And so it was 2 were out over the fence and 1 was inside the park. So I'm pretty proud of that. But
fast guy you are, huh? Around the diamond there.
Wow!
I try. I get around the bases. It used to be 13 seconds. I time myself, but my wife says it's going to be considerably slower nowadays. So.
So somebody told me that I play just like Babe Ruth, except I don't hit so far and I don't run so fast.
But otherwise, just like him.
Just exactly.
I like it.
It's the stature, guys. It's the girth. Hey, we've got a lot of interesting stuff out here as we talk about some of the needs that people are reflecting.
Yes, we have a lot of buyers that we're working with. We touched base on a couple of them last week. We have 2 buyers looking in the North Metro here for a townhome that's 2 bedrooms, at least 1 bathroom, under $150,000. We have a buyer looking in the South Metro for a 3+ bedroom, 2+ bathroom, over 2,000 square feet with a larger yard. Their price point is under $400,000. There is a buyer looking in the Shoreview area for at least a 2-bedroom, at least a 2-bathroom, updated townhome under $200,000. Buyer in Elk River looking for a 4+ bedroom, 3+ bathroom, 3-car garage at least, and under $375,000. Also, if you are out there and you have a fixer-upper opportunity, we do have 5 investors that are looking for their next project. So if you guys have any questions or if you're thinking about selling your house or know somebody that's looking at selling their house that matches this criteria, please give us a call. We've got buyers that are looking in this very depleted market that we're experiencing today.
I was just going to ask you, is this really kind of a side effect of a tight market?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, if you think, and we've talked about this on air in the past, when you're dealing with multiple offers or you have 10 people interested, or in one case 14 people that are interested in one specific house, well, guess what? There's 13 other people that just missed out on that opportunity.
Yeah.
So now they're going on to the next one. And so, you know, houses, when they're flying off the market in a day or two, like they are with our listings, they're hard to come by. So,
well, I'm going to add in, because we talked a lot about this earlier in the week, that we're seeing with all the multiple offers, potential buyers are upping the offer price, and they're now offering above list price, which you hope is a reasonable mark of what the value is. But we're starting to see appraisals coming in low, and appraisals are coming in low. And last month I had 2 different buyers that still paid the above list price, even though the home appraised for less. So they're overpaying for the house. We have an appraisal that is supposed to be giving us what the current value is, or showing us the value. And the buyer said, hey, the appraisal came in low, I still want the house, and they still overpaid.
well,
Wow.
Not happen. That doesn't happen all the time, but
No.
it's unique. We're seeing, my point is we're seeing more appraisals just coming in low, which is going to make the people then renegotiate.
absolutely. Well, it gives people the opportunity to renegotiate. And,
Right.
And you know, in a market like we're experiencing, the type of financing that you use is really important, because conventional appraisals versus FHA appraisals, there's a big difference there. FHA appraisals stick with the property for an extended period of time, whereas conventional appraisals, you know, if you're a conventional appraisal and the appraisal comes in low, as a seller now, you can cancel
Sell it
that
to somebody
contract
else.
and sell to somebody else,
Right.
because that appraisal will not be used in future appraisals.
So, Jamie, when you're, as a real estate agent, as a broker, somebody who's going into this to, you know, they've attached themselves to you to buy a house.
Yeah.
How do you set the price of a house that's going to be sold?
Yeah, so as a listing agent, we're going to be doing a market analysis and figuring out, you know, what are the recent pendings and solds. We go back about 6 months, but sometimes we have to adjust that depending on the amount of inventory that pops up, and that's based on, you know, X amount of miles away from their house,
Right.
comparable bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and then we take it a step further and look at the individual listings to see how updated they are.
Yeah.
Compared to our prospective property, and then we price it accordingly.
And I'm going to jump in because I have a tidbit to that story, and it just happened. I had a conversation with somebody last week, and they were referred to me by one of their family members. And where I'm going with this is what Jamie just said. You really got to listen to that and the research that he does on finding the value of the home to help you list it. I had a client that called up. They're going to sell their family home. They had a family friend that's a real estate agent who is going to list their home, and I think it was going to be like $400,000, charge them full commission, and they were advising the client to go out and get an appraisal to help set the value. And I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, well, isn't that what the real estate agent should be doing?
Yeah.
They're going to charge you over $22,000 in commission,
Right.
and they can't help you determine the value, and they want you to go and spend money for an appraisal. It shocked me.
Well, and the thing is, you know, consumers, sellers that have that strategy, you know, they're stuck on that price.
Right.
You know, my appraisal came in at $400,000, and said we market it at $400,000.
Yep.
Well, say the buyers in the market say it's only worth $375,000.
Right.
You know, that appraisal isn't going to justify what they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, and I'm the lender, so the nobody can use that appraisal anyways.
Yeah.
right.
Now, we got to take a break, but what we've just been talking about is absolute proof of the conversation we have to have today. This is why you want professionals involved
Exactly.
in this entire process. We'll be back. It's Real Estate Radio on Bob FM.
When it comes to home mortgages, you have a lot of choices. Make the right choice and contact Steve Rice at Marketplace Home Mortgage. Steve has over 25 years experience in the lending industry and provides his clients with all types of loan options to give them the best value every time. Marketplace Home Mortgage is the actual lender, and they are local, so they'll originate, underwrite, and close your loan in-house. No hassling around with out-of-state lenders. Find Steve online at www.steverice.net. That's steverice.net.
The Borden Real Estate Team with TCI Realty of Minnesota is here to help you make the right decisions when buying or selling a home. With over 25 years of combined real estate experience, they have the expertise and knowledge to help you achieve success through your real estate journey. Jamie and Cassie believe strongly in making a difference through educating and giving back to their community. For a professional evaluation of your situation, contact them today at www.teamborden.com. That's www.teamborden.com.
Well, welcome back to Real Estate Radio on Bob FM. Now, Steve, one of the things we missed in what I think was one of our best conversations that we just had in our first segment was you telling us how the markets are looking these days.
You know, they're still phenomenal. I mean, interest rates are, I tell everybody, figure 4% or less. But I looked at some news this week, and it was very interesting, and I kind of suspected this, but in the month of April, new construction sales has been up almost 17%. Just for the month of April. So we're seeing a lot of new construction, a lot of people that are wanting to get out there and build a new home. And my hope is that that's going to free up, put some other houses on the market, because you can list your house if you're going to buy something new. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can have a little bit of flexibility to move in there. But new home sales are up about almost 17%. Wow. But along with that information is the market, as far as interest rates go, we view that as negative information. So we might see rates tick up a little bit over summer and into the fall. Nothing major, nothing drastic, but I tell people good news in the economy can translate to bad news for interest rates. Mm-hmm. But still, overall, interest rates are terrific right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start this conversation today. You want to sell your house, and you want to save that commission. You want to save all the trouble that you see these crazy real estate guys pulling out of you.
Right.
I say that having a real estate guy sitting in the room, obviously. But we've established this a couple of times. It really is important and far more streamlined to actually get people who know what they're doing involved.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, there's something to say for people that do this day in and day out. You know, this is what we realtors do. Not every realtor is created equally. There's a lot of part-time agents out there that have full-time jobs that are kind of weekend warriors. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there's something to be said for agents that are full-time, that know what they're doing, that are selling every single day, that understand the market, are negotiating not only on the buy side but on the sell side as well, knowing what other agents are doing, how sellers are receiving information, how to make an offer in a competitive market like we're experiencing. Every market is different. Yeah. Every section of the decade is different in how to move forward, and every pricing category is different. You know, a house that's in the $110,000 pricing category is going to be significantly different than $1 million+ category. Mm-hmm. And so how you go about negotiating and proceeding with that specific part of the transaction can be very, very different. And it's good to work with somebody that knows what they're doing. Now, agents understand the local market, like I just got done saying. They know what's happening. They know negotiations, and they know that when it comes to receiving offers and making offers, what's expected between buyers and sellers. They price homes competitively. And if you're using Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, just to name a few of them, to set your home price, and the best one that I've heard is actually the county records. To go into the county records, take a look at your home value, and then talk to a realtor or talk to me, whatever, and figure out what your home value would actually sell for. And there is a vast difference there. And so I'm not going to get into details of why that is right now. For those of you who would like some information, feel free to call in and let me know. But marketing strategies. Every agent is different. Are you just going to put a sign in the yard and pray that it sells? Or are you going to have a proactive marketing approach that's actually going to get your house out to the vast majority of people and have a plan in place so that you can achieve massive results?
I thought it was interesting. I had a friend who was trying to sell their house about 3 years ago. The market was rather soft. There was a lot of inventory sitting out there. And they had a realtor come in and who gave them really no information. They signed a contract, put the sign out just as you said. There was that initial interest that came in. Oftentimes a new house goes on the market,
Right.
so you get the walkthrough stuff. But it didn't go. In fact, the length of the contract they had with the realtor ran out.
Yeah.
Sure.
They came to the end of the contract. They decided not to renew. They took a deep breath for about 2 months, and they signed on with another realtor who talked about what we talked about last, curb appeal, staging internally,
Right.
all the different things. Get half the clutter out the door. Rent yourself a rental spot if you need to,
Right.
but get this thing cleaned out, open up some spaces. Their house sold in 2 weeks
Right.
from that point on. The market, relatively the same. The price was identical to what they had priced it before, but it sold.
And we had an exact scenario like that. There was a house that we had listed in Blaine in the $400,000 range, and this specific realtor that had it before myself had it on for 4 months, and they were unable to sell it. They weren't doing anything proactive with it. And after talking with the seller to determine, making sure that I don't make the same mistakes as the previous agent, what did they do differently than what our plan was? And they had an open house 3 months into it, and that was because the seller was giving the guy a hard time because he wasn't doing anything to market his property. With our marketing approach, we took it over. After there were 4 months, he ended up canceling it. We took it over, and it sold we had 2 offers in 4 days, and it sold for $2,500 underneath their asking price, net to the seller.
Now, you must, Steve, have you living on the other end of this.
Yep.
You must you
hear-
can tell immediately when somebody's using a competent professional and when they're not.
Oh yeah. Well, and I have a lot of people that come to me that have a house to sell, and a lot of times they'll start off, well, I don't want to involve a real estate agent. They're not worth it. They get paid too much. And I have a good experience that I can share with them right off the bat is I sold my house on my own probably in, I think it was in 2001. Because in my situation, selling, I know a lot of real estate agents, and I thought, you know what? I've never sold my house on my own. Let me give this a try. I absolutely hated the whole process. And I've been in this business a long time, and everybody said, oh, you've got a lot of knowledge. You can get it done. I didn't like the marketing of it. I didn't like trying to schedule showings. But what I found, one thing that was very unique is when people came to look at the house, I really got a sense they were uncomfortable dealing directly with me, the owner, because if they were going to negotiate a price or try to lowball me or do anything, most people were very uncomfortable having that conversation with me.
Right.
So, I can come to people and say, you know what, I've done it. And the experience, I hated it. And I just tell them, do exactly what Jamie just said. Sit down with a good licensed professional, have a dialogue and say, hey, I'm going to sell my house. Here's what I think it's worth. What do you think? And then be quiet and you can tell a good professional real estate agent. I've heard rumor, and Jamie, you can tell me if you agree with this or not, but most listing presentations should be 2 appointments. I'm going to come to your house, see it for the first time, talk with you, look things over. But how can I expect you to sign a contract when I may have some more homework to do?
Right.
So I'm going to go back to my office. So I hear that, and I don't know, Jamie, if you agree with that, but then you come back to the house and say, okay, now I've done the research, and depending on the property, but that to me seemed to make a lot of sense. They've done their homework.
You see, what I generally will do on the front side is do my research ahead of time. So I'll create that value range of what the thing will sell for. For instance, if you've got a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhome in Club West in Blaine, there's going to be a pretty tight value range, and so it doesn't merit coming back a second time. But if there's something that we see during that initial presentation that's going to leave a question mark in my head that I have to dig a little bit deeper, then I absolutely will go back and have a second appointment.
It really kind of opens up the dialogue we started at the beginning of the program where you listed all these people looking. These people aren't in the back pocket of somebody who's trying to sell their house themselves.
No.
They are associated with you.
Absolutely.
And so when you see somebody who's listing their house, you can say, I've got 3 people who want to see this house today.
Right.
Where they might, that's fishing in a great big pond, and you don't know where the fish are hiding.
Well, and that's the thing is in a competitive market like we're experiencing today, if you have a for sale by owner and you put a sign out in your front yard, maybe a couple on a boulevard, you're reaching such a small percentage of qualified buyers that are out there.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, can you touch on also about if you bring a buyer to buy somebody's home as for sale by owner, isn't there some differences of what the seller has to disclose as far as the knowledge of the home and repairs, the seller's disclosure? Isn't that different if it's listed with a licensed professional versus selling on your own? Or is that the same?
There is no lick of difference. They have a state statute that
It's
sellers
urban
have to.
legend, I'm remembering.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Well, guys, we have to take another break. I can't believe it. We're already done with this segment.
A lot of good stuff.
We're talking about using a professional to do what you want to do, especially if you're selling a home, and kind of working into their arms. Let's get back. We're going to take a break. We're going to be back. It's Real Estate Radio on Bob FM.
Liberty Title has over 40 years' experience in real estate law and has quickly become a leader in the title community, providing excellent title service to Minnesota real estate agents, lenders, attorneys, corporations, and homeowners. Their knowledgeable staff of dedicated professionals coordinate residential and commercial real estate transactions with the highest degree of efficiency and customer service. When it comes to title work, there's only one place to turn: Liberty Title. Find us on the web at libertytitleinc.us.
The Borden Real Estate Team with TCI Realty of Minnesota believes strongly in supporting and honoring those who have chosen to serve their country and community. It is with utmost gratitude that they started MPFHeroes.com, where they give back 25% of their commission to all active or retired military, police, and fire rescue heroes in uniform. For more information about this program, visit www.mpfheroes.com. That's www.mpfheroes.com.
Well, welcome back to Real Estate Radio. I'm just overwhelmed how quickly this program's going, guys. We've put out a lot of great information. So, Jamie, here's what I'd like to do before we just get into the meat of this segment. How does somebody get in touch with you so that they've got some time to... Now, we'll give the address at the end of the segment as well, but where do you start again?
Well, you can go to mybobcountry.com, click on the Weekends tab, and then go to Real Estate Radio. And if you are a consumer out there, at the beginning we had the buyers that we have and what they're looking for. If you want to reach out directly to me,
okay.
You can call my cell phone at 763-238-8669.
All right, good. The conversation today has been centering around actually using somebody who's knowing of what they're doing. I do not offer brain surgery services, even though I do have a sharp knife and access to YouTube.
Yeah, that's all you need, right?
I think so. A little rubbing alcohol, I think we're all good.
That's right.
But in the home buying, that's much more critical if you're trying to buy a house or sell a house. And so we'll get into that. One of the things I noticed you've kind of alluded to just a little bit, but when you use a professional, there's a better chance that you're going to see greater value and outcome when it comes to the final sale of the house.
Absolutely. I'll start by saying if you are going to be marketing and selling a product, and you can get that product in front of 1,000 people, or there's another approach, and say you're hiring a professional, and you can get that product out to 10,000 people, and then even more so that are serious buyers, who do you think is going to achieve a better result? Mm-hmm. The obvious answer is if you can get your product out to more people, you're going to get a better result.
Yeah,
that's just common sense. And when it comes to for sale by owners, and that's what we're alluding to here, the National Association of Realtors tells us that on average, when a home is sold for sale by owner, the average sale price is $210,000.
Okay.
And when a realtor sells it, it's $249,000. That's an 18% increase.
Wow.
18%. The average real estate commission, of course, there's rules and regulations here, but say on average, it's completely negotiable between realtors, but say 5 to 7%, and that can fluctuate. So you take 18 from even on the high end, say 7%. You're going to make 11% more by listing with a professional that actually knows what they're doing.
That's what I try to break it down with the clients. If they start with me first, I look them in the eye and I say, well, what do you think your house is worth? And then think about all the effort you're going to take to sell that house. And you know what? It doesn't cost you anything to sit down with Jamie and have him do a market analysis and kind of show you what you're going to maybe walk away with.
I think about all we've talked about in this program. It's hardly a no-brainer. It's one of those things. Why would I not? I am not a professional in real estate. My wife looks through Trulia virtually every single day, but she's not a professional in real estate, and even though she may know what's out there, she's still not have the tools to do what she needs to do.
And there's great information on those websites in regards to the school districts and this and that and local things that are in the community.
Yeah.
But as far as determining value and using that as your vehicle for finding real estate, I've had people send me information and say, well, hey, these 10 houses weren't in your portal that you sent me, your search that you sent me. Why is that? Well, no, these 8 have accepted offers on them.
Mm-hmm.
This one sold 2 months ago, and this one sold 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but that information never got updated.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the struggle that a lot of consumers that are not working with professionals end up going through.
I think I heard somebody say one time, our greatest efforts to save money usually cost us more.
Right.
Correct.
Because we normally backpedal, we diminish what we think, all the different things that fall into place in our head. I like what you said, though, Steve, because when my wife and I were out looking for houses, the owner of the house followed us around with our agent.
Right.
But she followed us around. I mean, every room, every little nuance, because she wanted to hear what we were saying about the house. We didn't say anything about the house.
Oh, right.
Yep.
You're going to close down.
Yeah, and so when we stepped out the door, she said, well, you think you're going to buy it? And, of course, we gave her the polite, yeah, I think maybe.
so.
Well, let's talk about it. But it was so uncomfortable. So I think you had a little piece of gold there because people are so much less willing to negotiate with the owner themselves.
Right.
But other than going through the third party and say, do this to them.
Right.
And when I sold, it was at a time that everybody was pricing the house high.
Yeah.
Wasn't as hot as it is now. And so all sellers were expecting buyers to come back and give them a lowball offer.
Yeah.
It was just expected. And I found that people liked the house, all that stuff, but they wouldn't, they did not.
Yeah.
I got a sense they didn't want to lowball it
Right.
because they wanted to be respectful and not hurt her feelings.
Yeah, they don't want to offend you. And the fact of the matter is, you as a seller, you'd have taken any offer.
Right.
Or you would have at least negotiated with any offer.
Well, let's get started.
Guys, we're down to seconds, virtually seconds, less than a minute. How do we get in touch with the team here?
Yeah, so you can reach out to us. Nick, myself, and Steve's information is on mybobcountry.com. Click on the Weekends tab and then click Real Estate Radio, and you can find us all right there.
Well, everybody, you have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, you too.
Bon voyage. Have
Have
a
a great
great
day.
weekend. Absolutely. Enjoy it.
And have a great Memorial Day, everybody.
Right.
Yes, and thank you to the veterans that are out there.
Amen.
Really appreciate it.
And we'll see you all next week on Real Estate Radio and Bob FM.